Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Joel, thanks for tuning in. Today we have this 12 by 36 inch canvas we're going to be playing with. We're going to be doing another fun wall sculpture. So here you can see I have it masked off in the back and got a couple push pins in there. So it's raised up from my spinner. So I'm going to use Artist Loft soft body black straight out of the bottle. Get this underside cleaned up real quick, painted black so it looks nice when we're all done, and then we'll see where we go from here. Alright, so I got the sides and the back done. Now I mixed up some orange paint here and I'm going to paint this. You can see I masked off the outer 1.5 inches on the top and bottom of this canvas, and I'm going to paint this orange. Now I will tell you I did a bit of experimenting during this project, so don't be shocked when you see that I changed my mind halfway through on a couple of these little things. So the first step I followed was get this thing orange. Took several coats. I won't bore you with that, you'll just see that it's bright orange here. Okay, I masked that off. Now I'm taking some joint compound, just your average off-the-shelf joint compound, and I'm smearing a thin layer on here, like about a little over 1/8 of an inch thick, just on the top surfaces. Remember, the sides are masked off and they are black underneath that tape. So we're just going to put a nice coat here. Scrape it off the excess. We're going to let this set up real good. Then I'm going to come back and try to put an impression in this with a textured roller. And it really didn't work too well. This joint compound, it kind of gets a skin on the top but stays so soft that I wasn't happy with that. So you'll see that I changed my mind. I got another plan here. I'm going to get this smoothed out, and we're going to use stencil here. Yeah, so I just laid my stencil down on the still wet joint compound, and then I'm just taking a spreader and I'm kind of mashing it, kind of getting it nice and level. I'm going to move it over and do the same thing on both sides. This ends up working quite well. Alright, so I kind of have to let the cat out of the bag here a little bit because I actually did the sculpture part at the same time I was doing the background. So here you can see I laid the sculpture on the canvas and traced around it to show where the holes were going to be. Then I took masking tape and I masked off all those circles where the holes are. I'm painting the entire thing black. As you see, I unmasked the whole thing so that the joint compound is exposed. I also gessoed that first so that the paint will adhere properly. So I'm just painting the whole thing black. Then I'm going to unmask those orange circles so that when I lay the sculpture on top of it, you should see through the holes and see those circles. It's just an idea I had, so here we go. So that's after they're unmasked. Here I am with the sculpture. You can see it was blue there. But anyway, I got to finish this background up. You'll see what I got going on here, and then we'll see the finished product at the end. So I'm masking off my center area. I'm taking some turquoise blue. It's Liquitex turquoise blue right out of the tube. I'm putting a thin layer on the top areas so that the recessed areas remain black, kind of smearing around, and we will end up with kind of a snakeskin texture. Now, I like that blue. That looks really, really good. But I'm not happy with the orange dot idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask the orange dots off. I'm going to be leaving a black stripe. You can see where the greenish tape is. That's fine line masking tape. So when I remove everything, there will be 2 black stripes that are bordering the sculpture. I think this will be a lot better. So I got it all masked up. I'm going to go ahead and put joint compound over this, okay, and cancel out the dots. Just a medium layer. Like I said, it's a little over 1/8. It's not like 1/4 of an inch thick. So I'm just going to take my stencil again, lay it down, take my spreader, and I'm just mashing that stuff up through the stencil and then smoothing it out, getting as smooth as I can. I'll finish this step up and I'll get back to you in a couple minutes. All right, so I let that dry. I come back, unmask it, and then we're going to gesso this center area. I'll have to remask it to protect my black stripes and the turquoise. So here we're remasking it. That's my fine line tapes made by 3M. Stuff's awesome. Comes off of the canvas without removing your paint compared to a regular 3M masking tape. So we're going to get this masked up. We're going to apply our gesso, and then we're going to do the turquoise blue and black again to the center. So here's my gesso. I can make sure my mask is on there nice and tight first because I don't want any bleed through. So we're going to get this gessoed up. We're going to paint it blue, and then we'll be able to go and show you how I made this sculpture. All right, so I got my background done. I think it's looking really good. What do you guys think? Can I get her unmasked? I'm going to show you how I made the sculpture now. So as you can see, I have this material here, this black. There is the sticker off of it, HDPE material. Okay, so you can get this in sheets. I've already cut it out. I used 10 snips to cut that, and then I beveled it, sanded it down real nice. Now I'm showing you these hole saws I'm going to use. I'm going to drill some holes in this sucker, and I think it'll help immensely with the texture and just the overall appearance. Alright, so I'm going for kind of a ordered randomness. So I'm going to drill 3 or 4 of these bigger holes, then 3 or 4 of the medium-sized holes, then 5 or 6 of the smaller ones. And I'm going to have it, like I said, kind of random, but I want it balanced. So that's my goal here. Kind of having problems with the first hole till I figure out how to work the sucker, and then we'll get her whipped out. All right, the next step after you get all your holes drilled is to sand and file off any burrs that you have, just so the paint job will be nice and smooth. You don't want it to be sloppy looking, so I'm sanding that down, and we'll get that whipped out. Drilling a couple more holes here and there, get it sanded out, chiseling off the burrs because it kind of melts when you try to, at least my drill bit was too dull, so that's why that happened. So I'm just sanding these out, getting them as smooth as I can, and the next step is going to be heating this up and bending it. So stick around for that. Alright, I have the heat gun on its hottest setting, and I'm just going nice and slow, and it'll just start to bend over when it gets hot enough. It'll just start to drop. I'm going to set my heat gun down. Apparently I didn't get it hot enough yet. So, take your time on this when you first get started. And then after you got it figured out, it goes pretty fast. So I'm going to speed this up again. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you in a couple. got all the bins in it that I need. I'm happy with it. I'm taking it into the paint booth. Going to clean this off, wipe it down with solvent, make sure it's clean as can possibly be, blow any dust off of it. I'm going to take a tack rag, tack it off. Then I'm going to use some adhesion promoter because this is raw plastic. I want to make sure that this paint sticks real well. So first step is adhesion promoter. Then I will be using some sealer. Here's my tack rag. I will be using some sealer. I'll be painting it silver. I will be applying 2 coats of clear coat, and then I will take it back home and show you how I get the fancy pattern on it that you guys like. Alright, this is my adhesion promoter. It's in a rattle can. It's made by Exalta. So we're just going to put a little mist coat on here. You don't need too much. It's just kind of like glue, basically. So we're going to get that on there, and the next step is to paint it silver. Alright, so I got it sealed. Now I have some silver paint, and this is water-based paint. It's base paint. It needs to be clear coated, so it will have like no reflection when it dries. Just getting some good coverage on it. Got to shoot it from different angles because the curves. And then we will put some clear coat on it. Alright, we got it cleared. It's dry. I'm back at home. I'm going to show you the magical part here. So I just have some Artist Loft Soft Body Black straight out of the container. I did throw a little water in just to thin it out. And I'm just going to take a foam brush and go around all these holes, make sure I have good coverage on those first because it's easy to miss them. So now I'm just going to apply a good coat of this slightly watered down black paint, and that's just so that it doesn't dry too fast on me. I'll keep it wet. And then I'm going to take this sheet of cellophane and we're going to kind of mash it down into that black paint. This is an old trick I used on motorcycles back in the 80s, so it's super awesome. If you got a couple spots you missed, just go back and pat it. And then we'll zoom in and I'll show you what it looks like just with the silver and the black. So here's a close-up of just the silver and the black. It's not quite dry, that's why there's some really dark looking spots on it. But you can see the pattern is pretty awesome. And I'm going to take it back to work now after this dries. And we're going to shoot some candy colors on it. Candy color, blue, and some clear. Then it will be ready to attach to the fancy background that I have. So there you go. We're back at work. It's all ready to go. We're going to get out our candy paint. First I'm going to tack it off, make sure there's no dust on it. So this candy paint is very transparent. It's automotive paint, and it's really awesome. You'll be amazed what this looks like. Here you go. Here's a close-up. I think that's pretty awesome myself. Now we got to get it home, stick it on that background, see what we have. here we have it. It's mounted to my wall even. I think it's pretty awesome. I've never seen anything like it. I will say that. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to be putting out a few more of these. I guarantee it. As a matter of fact, I posted a little picture, this little video right here, it's a minute long, on Facebook and sold it like 8 hours later. So when I woke up, it was sold. So I was really happy with that. So I'm definitely going to be pumping out a few of these babies. I want you guys to have a great week and weekend, and I'll see you next time. Thanks again. And also thanks to those surf zombies. You gotta love those guys. See you now.